Alright, this is going to be a late night weekly recap from the 6th of February to the 10th of February, and I had a total of 11 trades. This ended up being a red week with a very tiny red week, and my first week with a $20 risk level. Let's just go over the trades, get straight to the point, starting with the first one, HILS on the 6th, which I already have right here. And the 6 is going to be right here, so not a very significant day other than the fact that it could try to maybe break the 120 level and make an uptrend, which it actually did do, and I missed out on this one. It happened at the end of the day right here. 6 is going to be right here, and let's take a look at it. I was in at 932 at 116, and this was a range low towards high a day breakouts, 15-minute breakouts. So let's look at 932 at 118 or 119. 932 was a bit further back. So right around right here, I guess the idea is that it was very close to that 120 breakout level, and I was in it right in the morning when it was looking like it was trying to hold this range right here, this 118 level, and I'm in at 119. And the idea would be for it to get above 120 and be a breakout and make a move towards the upside, especially right in the morning. I got out of this one 940 and my average was 116.1, so 940 was right here when I got out. And I essentially got out at 116 because it looked like it was going to break this support level of 118, and that's why I got out of the trade. And it just didn't work out. It didn't uptrend and do the thing I wanted it to do. Although I guess it did do it later this day, or no, it was actually the next day when it did it. And yeah, it made a very nice move. And then the next few days, which I did trade, it got a lot higher. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, it had like a little uptrend right here, and then it kind of came back to the breakout level, even a bit under it, and then it had a really nice move the next day, although it did have some news. Let's look at the next trade, BZFD, BuzzFeed on the 6th. And one thing to note, I stopped doing setups that are not obviously breaking above VWAP or breaking the high of the day. This one right here I got in because it looked like it was going to, but it didn't. Just doesn't seem like the setups are working as well as they were for stuff like that. 6 is going to be here. Okay, so a bit of a sell-off, but it held this $2 level for the most part. Now it could try to be something where it tries to make another run-up or at least just be maybe a short squeeze. Let's look at the 6th, which is going to be this first one right here. Yep, that's the case. All right, I was in at 942 at 228, and this was morning panic bounce play. So 228, 9, 2. So right around here is when I get in at 942 at 228. Why did I get in this morning panic bounce play? Essentially, it was downtrending. It tried to regain itself here, then it sold off, and then it looks like it was going to find a bottom here. And I got in at 942 at 228, and the goal would be for it to get to VWAP all the way into 240. So I did get out of this one 2 minutes later, 944 at 228. So around the same level. And it looks like I used a trend line and I got out of it the moment it looked like it was going to get out of it. So I got out of it at 944, and it just ended up being something where I had this trend line right here extended to the right. So then when it essentially looked like it was going to break under it, I got out. It didn't, continue to make a move towards the upside. It just broke this level and it did sell off right here. So yeah, this setup did not work out, but I think it was a good attempt for what it was, especially when it could have done something where, instead of selling off, it could have been like a short squeeze. Let's look at the next trade, which is SECO on the 6th. 6 is gonna be right here. First, in theory, Green Day didn't end up doing too much, but that was the idea with this day right here. I was in at 1011 at 378, and this was a VWAP breakout. First Green Day gapper. 1011 at 378. 1011 is going to be right here, 378. I got in it right here. Why? Very simple. First green day gapper, and I was in it right when it was breaking above VWAP. Maybe a bit of a chase because I remembered wanting to be in it for an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder head shoulder, and then this higher low off of the shoulder, or maybe more accurately like right around that VWAP level. But at least I tried it, and this one did offer a nice move towards the upside as shown here. I got out 2 minutes later. I did not feel the the best with the way I traded this one. 1013 at, let's just say 396. 1013, which was right here at 396 was my average. So I did sell on the option right here with my entry at 378. Let's take a look at my notes. Oh, so I had an issue right here where when I was clicking in and out, selling portions of my position, I did want to keep a position left, but I accidentally had a fat finger mistake where I clicked on the sell button twice. Towards the end of the week, I think I have a new system that, even though it uses market orders, seems to be a lot more efficient trading these. And I should have held longer, and it would have allowed me to have maybe been more profitable, but that was the issue. And I sold everything too early. It wasn't like I was scared or anything. I just had a fat finger mistake, and I learned not to do that. It did do a nice drop towards VWAP here, and this one held. I regret missing out on this one because I was interested in this. I was talking about it before it happened, some kind of a setup where I did buy it around VWAP, and this one just did it very quickly. Super nice move, as high as $5. So I'm glad there was opportunity, even though I didn't take it. Shows that I'm not nailing every setup out there. There's plenty of room for me to be more profitable and better. Let's look at KPRX on the 7th. 7th is going to be here again, first green day. This is when I'm starting to see that setups are not really working as well as they have been previously, right in the morning, where they would have a nice gap up and then they would get very volatile and break the high day and continue the uptrend. I was in at 936 at 497, and this was oh, is this where I had the fat fingered sell? So what was, okay. Alright, so what I said about me selling everything too soon, I actually meant that for this trade. I remembered it wrong. This one, I guess I was too chicken. Yeah, actually it says right here I was just too chicken. Okay, so yeah, that was the issue with that. And that makes sense. Okay, let's look at this one at 936, 497 and a half, and this was a support hold, trend line break towards VWAP. So yeah, that okay. 936 is going to be right here at this level at 497 and a half. So I got in it right here. And why? Well, essentially it was doing something where I had a trend line break. So I had this and it broke it. We extend it to the right. You can see it broke past it. And then I was in it because it was looking like it was trying to roughly hold around this $5 level. And then it could ideally make a move towards VWAP, break above VWAP, and maybe even try to break the day high or at least get there. And if it's super nice, it does continue the uptrend some more. That was the idea with that trade I had right there. I did get out 3 minutes later at 5:06, so 9:39 was right here. This is when I had my last sell, and my average was 5:06. It seems like I just traded a setup that didn't really work right there, but I had a good entry and a good sell overall. I guess, yeah, I did fat finger my sell. And yeah, what happened was is I had one more drop, but I never broke the day low, and then it did the thing I wanted it to do. So I could have tried this, sure, but this wasn't as obvious as the VWAP setup. Although this was at least a higher low, it didn't like break the day low and then turn around. I've seen stuff do that, and that's really toxic. This one actually, in theory, could have maybe have been something that I could have caught and traded if I was more aggressive. Not as easily noticeable as the one where it dropped towards VWAP and made a super nice spike, but still. Let's look at KPRX on the 7th again, right? This is the same stock, yep. It was in at 1008, 533, and this was a VWAP higher low, so 1008 was right here, 533. Why was I in it? Well, I guess because they had this long dip under VWAP. It had a shorter one, and I was thinking that it was dipping. Sure, it broke under VWAP a little, but these are like higher lows, and I thought I could try to make a move towards this top right here at 560, or maybe even try to go for the wick. And I did get out of this one 2 minutes later at 537 and a half. So yeah, just around the same level, 537 and a half. And I got out of this one because I did not feel very comfortable with the setup. Felt like this was too much of a technical trade, no really good fundamental analysis. It just felt like it was too degenerate and I wasn't comfortable with it. Something just fell off and I got out of it for that reason. And yeah, it worked out in this case, but I hope I can learn to get better with this and maybe just pick better setups because I don't want to be, in that situation where I'm trusting how I'm feeling too much. Unless it's like a really big gut feeling and then I miss out on setups that really work out. Yeah, this was just a bit too technical, I guess. And again, with the thing in mind that these gappers haven't really been uptrending that much. Maybe if it was like the week before this one, this could have worked out. So that's one thing to consider with that. Let's look at CELZ. This is when I really learned my lesson. This day right here, the 8th and the 9th a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I just really gave up on these setups right in the morning working. Let's look at CELZ on the 8th. Here is the 8th. Again, another one of these gappers that just sold off. Pretty good for short selling, but then the one that doesn't sell off squeezes short sellers and makes them lose big. I was in at 936 at 127. This was a dip and rip, so 936, right? Yep, 936 at 127. Right here, 936, 127. I got in there right here. Why? Well, I thought it had the thing where, it has a gap up. I think it had good news, and then it has a sell off, and then, it looks like it's trying to find a bottom somewhere just slightly under VWAP. And I'm in it thinking that it's going to turn around. Maybe I saw something in the price action here, and it could try to really do a nice morning spike, or at least a dip and rip setup, the dip and then a rip. I was out 939 at 120. Wow. Right here at 120, I got out. It essentially broke the day low of 122. Got the trade. It did sell off more. Good thing I stuck to my plan. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't see anything else from my notes other than the fact that I should be careful with biotech stocks because they seem to work the least out of all of those that have gap up setups, even though it seems like I did trade it another time. Let's look at the next trade, which was at 949 at 119. So 949 was right here at 119. I got in it right here. And this was a dip under VWAP range low. So the idea was that it did drop under VWAP, although it hasn't really been uptrending, so it's not really a dip under VWAP. I guess it's just a setup where it breaks under it and then it could try to get above it, but it's not like a dip buy where something is downtrending and then it sells off rapidly and has a dip and then it bounces. This is just a gradual sell off, so maybe not necessarily the best setup here. And this could have also been something where I could have drawn a trend line, right? And you can see how it follows it for the most part until it breaks it here. Does one more sell off, and this is when it actually made an uptrend, and then a higher low off of here, and then another one, and then another one, and it actually tried to gain itself above VWAP. So this was probably just a crappy setup. Me just trying to trade something that isn't working as well as it used to be anymore. Let's look at 952. I was out at 113. So 952 right here, and I got out because it broke my risk and everything. And I think I had an issue right here. I think I had an issue with some of these trades where I had it problems getting out of my entire position, but I think I should have that figured out by now. With the way I trade, just using market orders and slight differences in the settings with Charles Schwab. Let's look at WDLS also on the knife. If I type it right, I guess I record. No, it's WLDS. That's the problem. Knife is going to be here. Another one of these. And this one, I think it's a biotech. No, it's not. This one's not a biotech. Let's look at the knife, which is going to be this day. Right there. I was in at 933, 121, and this was a range. Another one of these. They just stopped working. This is probably my lowest score in terms of did the setup work or not in a very long time. I haven't seen something lower than a 50. This was a 58. This was pretty bad. This was way back in April of last year. This was also pretty low. Yeah, not very good. Not often that I get a score that low. So many setups just failed, and that's because I was trying stuff that just wasn't working anymore, and I have to adapt much quicker than that. Was in at 933, 121. Okay, 933 right here at 121. So the idea was that with my crappy entry, considering that it failed, you know, has a gap up, news is going to hold this level ideally 115 or maybe VWAP. And then it can try to break above this range of 121 or 120, and it can try to make a move towards the high, I guess, right here, or even more than that. And I did get out 937, 113. Right here is when I got out at 113. And I think I had a problem where I just wasn't able to sell everything that I wanted, or I wasn't clicked in the order box, and I had a worser entry than what I should have had. I think I could have been able to have sold right when it looks like it was going to break this range at 115, but I think I wasn't clicked in the order box, so then when I tried to place an order, I didn't go through, and I had to do it again, and then I had a lower entry for that exit. A lower exit, not trying to be confusing there. Let's look at HPCO on the knife. This one was pretty scary because it was just gapping up in the morning. Yeah, this one's a bit different. It has a gap up, but this thing really worked. It's way towards the upside. And yeah, this is a thing that really punishes the short sellers because this one didn't just sell off. And that's why I had all these crazy halts. Is it even worth shorting them? I have no clue. Maybe. Let's look at 11.19 at 306, and this was a range. Did buy towards high and day, so another one of these, but not necessarily in the morning. 11.19, 3. Yeah, 306. 11.19, 306. 11.19 was. Let me zoom in some more. 11.19 was right here, 306. I got in it right here, and the idea was that it was holding this level of 287, and it was putting up baby higher lows, and the goal was it to make a move towards the high a day. 320 as a resistance level, and then the very high is this 340 level, which you can see it did do, but then it also sold off massively. I think I would have gotten out of this one profitably, but I traded this one badly. I didn't do it well. 11.26, I got out at roughly $3. So right here, I just had that other setup that didn't work out with WLDS, and then I had this one, and it just looked like it was going to fail so hard. It just looked so ugly, and I got out of it. And what do you know? It actually started to make a move towards the upside right after I got out too, which was stupid, but it's a good reminder that even if the setup looks like trash after you get in and it really looks like it's going to break your risk level, just hold on until it gets to that point. Because this was an example where I had my risk level at 287, I think, the bottom of this range, and it would have been something where I would have sold a portion at 314 because that was my goal. to sell some there. I already had an order ready to go if that was going to happen. And then I think I would have sold some on the uptrend too, because it did get to this resistance level of 320, and it even got to the day high. I know it's like hindsight 2020, but I think I would have sold this one profitably. I don't think I would have been destroyed in that downtrend right there. Yeah, good reminder to just stick to your risk level. And then these last two trades, I did much better, but I did not have the proper amount of size. If I just had the right amount of size, would have actually have had a green week, I think. Yeah, pretty easily. Trading a $20 risk level. So yeah, plenty of opportunity to have been better, and also just avoiding setups that just aren't working as well as they used to be. Let's look at HILS on the 10th. I can type. The 10th is going to be right here. Yeah, so again, this had a thing where um, it broke above this 120 level, and okay, that just makes it look ugly. It broke above 120, and then it sold off, held, reversed, nice gap up. Pretty impressive day. I'm sure shorts weren't expecting that, because you look at something like, oh geez, this is, no, I don't know what it's called. Just in general, a lot of these gappers just completely, absolutely fail. Let's bring this back. Super crazy one. And let's get the 10th right here before I forget, which is going to be this range. I was in at 932. Oh, wait, let me get rid of these actually. Oh no, I do have it right. I thought I still had the yeah, the right amount of shares I should have traded. 932, I was in at 241, and this was a morning high day breakout. I guess this one actually worked, yeah. Okay, 932, 241. Right here is 932. Why does this chart look so ugly? I think I typed in the wrong stop. Yeah, I did. I typed in the wrong stock. Wow. Just to, make it clear, it is almost midnight, and I don't necessarily have the best sleep the past 2 days. Okay, this makes more sense. Very volatile. 932 again was right here. Okay, and just to be sure, at 241. Right here at 241, not the best entry, but I did get in it because it was breaking this range, which was a high if you ask me. And I think if you looked in the pre-market, yeah, this was also there. So it was essentially looking like it was going to break the round number of 240, which was very close to the high, if you want to count the pre-market price action, and this was 243. And obviously the goal is that it continues to spike. I was out 934 at 254, so not too much later. Right here, 254 was my average, so I got out right here. I'm gonna guess I just had a trend line and it just broke it. Or I guess it looks like it was gonna break it when I sold, and I had a higher entry. Maybe I could have waited 1 more minute. Would have gotten a lower sell, but I would have stuck to this trend line a bit more, because if it were to have continued to follow it, I would have missed out. Not bad for what it was. It actually did work out. Despite what I was saying about all of them failing. It's just that most of them are failing now, but when before all of them were working out. Let's look at the last trade, 939 at 239. And this was a dip under VWAP of bull flag. These are nice. They work out very nicely when they do it. I was in right here at 939 at 240 or 239. Yeah, 239. Too many 39s going on right here. I got in it right here, and yeah, it looks like a bull flag, right? Very nice setup right here, and it doesn't show it, but at the time when I was trading it, with the way the charts looked, it was also a move under VWAP. It's not under VWAP here, but it was when I was trading it at the moment. I got out the next minute at 249. Let's take a look at that. 249. Was it really 249? Yeah, that wasn't it. 245. Right here I got out. And what happened was is that I just didn't like the price action. It looked like it was not going to continue. It just looked like it was going to just be a little pop and then fail. And I guess if I were to have drawn a trend line, I mean, it would have broken it the next minute anyway right here. Even if I drew it from there, it would have been the same thing. It just looked like something that wasn't going to last. And yeah, it just didn't really work out that much. But it was still a good try because it could have. Definitely. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Sometimes I make my ending a bit too long talking about things. I just have to get good. That's it for this weekly recap right here.